The Green Bay Packers host the Detroit Lions in Week 1 of the NFL 2025 season. This is going to be fireworks from the get-go. The Packers and the Lions both made the playoffs. Both of them had terrific seasons in 2024, although neither of them were able to come away with playoff wins. The last couple of years under Dan Campbell have been phenomenal for Detroit. They had very good coordinators in Ben Johnson, Aaron Glenn leave in the offseason, but they were able to find very suitable replacements. Detroit did a very good job in the draft this year. They're able to bring in Tyreek Williams to add and bolster to that defensive line. On the offensive side of the ball, they replaced the great center Frank Ragnow, now with Tate Ratledge from the Georgia Bulldogs. On the other side, the Green Bay Packers with Matt LaFluer. We understand now what their identity is going to be. They're trying to add an explosive element to this offense that we have not seen under the Green Bay Packers probably since about 2019, 2020, when they made the NFC Championship game back-to-back years. What's so great about the Packers and the Lions is this is a historical matchup. NFC North, that's what you think about when you believe that this rivalry is actually a rivalry. You want the NFC North to be strong. That's where the Blue Bloods of the National Football League come together. We start this one off really on the Green Bay side of the ball. Obviously, when they are playing well, especially when they had Aaron Rodgers, it was running the football first. When they had Aaron Jones, establishing it through that. This year, they're going to be doing that from the very much get-go. It's going to be get the ball to Josh Jacobs early and often, and then Jordan Love matriculate the football down the field. Tucker Kraft being able to pick up the short stuff, relying on Jordan Love being able to be efficient early on. Last year, of course, we know about the injury that he had Week 1 against Philadelphia. It just didn't quite seem right all of last year. We're going to be seeing a little bit more of a conservative Jordan Love would be the expectation, but when they have their opportunities, that one-on-one, the chance to take their shots down the field and utilize that speed of Matthew Golden, that is what you are going to see. On the other side for Detroit, of course, we know that offense. Amon-Ra St. Brown has been a top 5 wide receiver in the National Football League the last couple of years. Of course, Jahmyr Gibbs could be the best running back in football next year. Him and Saquon Barkley, you could have either one of those guys. You'd be happy. And, of course, the guy in the red zone to utilize in David Montgomery. We know Sam Laporta had a bit of that down year last year. So this matchup, I've got both of these teams so close in ability. Obviously, would be leaning towards the Lions. Even if you're a Green Bay Packer fan, you're expecting there to be somewhat of that home field advantage. Of course, Lambeau is going to be completely sold out in the 70s of thousands of people there in attendance, being absolutely electric, being loud. So looking forward to this year. The narratives from a Week 1 game are obviously which team is going to have less mistakes. It's a lot more about which team makes less mistakes than which team is going to play a lot better. That's typically what we see throughout the entire month of football in September. It's like which team is able to get actually to the line of scrimmage on time, get into their cadence, be able to use that cadence as an offense, which the Packers have done. Green 19's and hot, like Jordan Love, Aaron Rodgers, and everything they've been able to do, utilizing that as a weapon. I would give that as an obvious edge to Green Bay. Typically in the National Football League, earlier matchups are matchups that aren't until November, December. The home field is more something you see a bit more of in college football. What am I expecting Detroit to be as a team when they're healthy on the defensive side of the ball? Last year, we know all about the takeaways that they were able to come up with. Aiden Hutchinson on the exact track to be the defensive player of the year, leading the league in sacks at the point that he went down, being able to force fumbles in the back end. Brian Branch, Jack Campbell, Kirby Joseph has been already one of the best safeties in the NFL. Where's the lean early on to this game? I'm leaning towards a very close game. I have the Lions winning this 28-27. It's hard to be able to know exactly what type of level you're going to see from Detroit, from the Green Bay Packers, right? Because you're going through preseason, there's a lot of limited reps that we saw from both of them, and how are you going to be able to expect and understand what those offenses are going to be when you haven't seen the typical offense that they're going to run. The Packers with Matt LaFleur and that style of defense, that's something that has been so opportunistic. Of course, taking the football away, top 5 in the NFL a season ago. Of course, we know that they struggled mightily against good teams that made the postseason last year. They were 1-5 against playoff teams from a year ago, 0-4 in the NFC North, and then of course that loss to the Philadelphia Eagles, the first game of the season. Now, Dan Campbell is going to be obviously talking about where are we going to gain an advantage, and you look across the board. I would for sure be immediately looking towards Jameson Williams. Jameson Williams is the type of X-factor player that not a lot of teams have. Someone that can separate immediately off the line of scrimmage. Green Bay's like, well, we got a guy like that, Matthew Golden. We're not going to make the comparison quite yet because Jameson Williams has had those welcome to the NFL moments. Maybe he was in the divisional round game throwing the pick against the Washington Commanders. Don't know what Ben Johnson's play call was. You can see the Bears stuff in the background. Regressing there, or digressing. We need to see James Williams get the ball early and often throughout this matchup and taking shots. Jared Goff. What does Jared Goff look like without Ben Johnson as his coordinator? People have become accustomed to him being one of the class players in the National Football League, him being someone that could compete for MVP trophies. That's something that a lot of people did not think when they saw him in the early stages of the Los Angeles Rams before Sean McVay came into town. The former number 1 overall pick, of course, was taken number 1 overall for raising the size, the arm ability. It wasn't the mobility, but the way he could attack every blade of grass and put the football exactly where he needs to. Got the Lions, of course, I mentioned 28-27, a very close game, expecting a good amount of penalties, mistakes on both sides of the ball, a bit sloppy play. NFC North, the exact type of style. Some miscommunications in the secondary, and a couple of guys getting open. Maybe Matthew Golden with a deep ball touchdown, Jameson Williams with a deep ball possibility in that. But expecting it to be super fun. Obviously, an NFC North fan, Chicago Bears. But this is the type of game where you can have fun and enjoy. Not necessarily a massive rooting interest because it's so early in the year. There's not really playoff implications at this stage. So you can just sit back, enjoy it, and see who's able to come out with better football overall in it. So thank you so much for watching. Packers lose 28-27 to Detroit. So let me know down below in the comments who you think comes away with the win week 1. Packers, Lions at Lambeau Field. Please make sure to subscribe for more content. In the future, we're going to continue to bring out previews. We'll be doing game recaps throughout the season, live streaming everything that you can think of to have coverage from the NFL as well as college football. You can see the Jeremiah Smith jersey right there by my shoulder. So please subscribe for more content in the future, and I will see you next time on Blitz with Blender. Best player in college football. That Georgia and Ohio State game, New Year's Eve, is going to be a classic.
Josh Blender, hi everybody, I'm Josh Blender. To the 40, 35, 30, Espinosa to the 20.